Our long national nightmare is almost over. It's Tuesday, Election Day. And Donald Trump just voted for himself. This is fascinating. Sky News is reporting. Sky News is the British private competitor to BBC News. And, the British cable TV channel, basically. I don't know, maybe it was a satellite channel. I don't know that much about Sky News other than that they're there and it's British. And they're reporting, which I didn't see on CNN or MSNBC, although they were both reporting on Donald Trump showing up to vote, that he was being booed. Listen to this little clip. I can't show you the video. I just got this, and it takes a little bit for us to get a video up for you to see, but you can listen to the audio here. This is the Sky News commentators as the camera is shooting Donald Trump getting out of his SUV with a Secret Service entourage.
In this election, just waving to the crowds, although some people have been a bit hostile outside the polling station. Our correspondent Hartmann Peter was saying that some people booing and jeering as he went in to make place his vote. Hannah, can you hear us? You're still standing by.
I can. Hi, Gillian. Sorry, I was just asking his spokesperson Hope Hicks how.
Yeah, so they go on with the conversation, but that's interesting. In Wisconsin, long lines are forming at the DMV. Not making this up. People standing outside the Northern Milwaukee DMV on Election Day morning. You can see this over at thinkprogress.org. Jack Jenkins, the senior religion reporter at Think Progress, player of harmonica and ukulele. I'm guessing maybe also Wisconsin resident, because there's all these photos. And, Scott Walker got through a very strict voter ID law for this state that's just filled with immigrants and non-citizens and people who want to vote illegally. Wink, wink, nod, nod. Wisconsin's got to be one of the most white bread states in the country, right? So anyway, he passed this very restrictive voter ID law that says that not only do you have to have a driver's license, but it has to be current. So I don't know if you've ever had this experience. I've had this experience at least twice in my life, where I show up for something where I need my driver's license, like getting on an airplane, and discover that it's expired. And, one time was, I was in my 20s. I got pulled over by the police and I had an expired license. And another time I remember definitely was getting on an airplane and they noticed that my license had expired. And they just said, oh, it's all right. I was like, holy cow, it had just expired a few weeks earlier. And so a lot of people are showing up to vote and being told that their student ID isn't acceptable or their driver's license has expired. They tell the story of this one woman. She's a nurse. She takes the bus to work, so she doesn't need to drive, and hadn't bothered to keep her driver's license up to date. So she had to go to the DMV and wait in line for a couple of hours before she could get her new driver's license, and then she goes to the polling place and stands in a few hours. That's called voter suppression. If it takes you more than 30 minutes to vote, that's voter suppression. So I would love to hear your reports about voting around the country. I voted by absentee ballot. I voted, early here in Washington, D.C. a couple of weeks ago. And I will tell you, I was very actually enthusiastic to vote for Hillary Clinton. Bernie Sanders endorsed her heartily, and I follow Bernie. And, well, I follow myself, too. I mean, I don't know if you've seen Michael Moore's movie Trumpland. But it's really more about Hillary than Donald Trump. And I think it's Netflix, Hulu, all the usual suspects. But it's really, worth viewing. A friend of mine from Portland said, I'm thinking of strategic voting. What do you think? And I said, well, I'm enthusiastically voting for Hillary, and I'd encourage you to watch Michael Moore's movie. You'll get the sense of why. Along the lines of movies, we had Greg Palast on last week. And, Donald Trump says that the election is rigged. And And Greg Palast says, hey, Trump should know his buddies are the ones rigging it. He's the investigator with Rolling Stone, and he's got this new movie out called The Best Democracy Money Can Buy, a tale of billionaires and bandits and ballot bandits. And not only have I seen the movie, but I was here in Washington, D.C. for the world premiere. Rosario Dawson, Willie Nelson, the cartoons are by the guy who framed Roger Rabbit. It's brilliant. And you can get it on Amazon for $3. Shameless plug department here. But it's called The Best Democracy Money Can Buy, and it's $2.99 on Amazon. And you can watch it live online. It is what today is all about. Because Greg Palast points out that, with Chris Kobach and Interstate Crosscheck, that there are going to be hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of Americans who are going to show up at the polls and be told, oh, I'm sorry, you're not on the voting rolls. Don't know what happened. It's a mystery. Must be space aliens, but you're not on the voting rolls. Susan B. Anthony, around this time of year, back in, as I recall, 1872, voted. It was illegal. She was arrested. She didn't have the money for a good criminal defense, and so she pled guilty to the charge, or allowed herself to get convicted, as the case may be. She died in 1906. She fought her entire life for the right of women to vote and never saw it happen. She died 13 years before women got the right to vote in the United States. She's buried at the Mount Hope Cemetery in Rochester, New York, which is where she was arrested and convicted of trying to vote. And people are putting "I voted" stickers all over her tombstone. There's a picture of it over at Democratic Underground, and that I tweeted out this morning. I thought it was really cool. In Bangor, Maine, fake flyers passed out at Bates College. It's interesting. Nate Sweet, who writes for our TV show and sometimes for the radio show, went to Bates College, and he looked at this. He says, "This is outrageous." Bates Election Legal Advisory. If you choose to register and vote in Lewiston, you must pay to change your driver's license to Lewiston, Maine within 30 days. Pay to re-register your vehicle you have in Lewiston, Maine. This includes a vehicle inspection requirement, unusual, requirement, usually hundreds of dollars in total, blah, 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 blah. In other words, don't bother to vote, students. And it's a lie. You don't have to do that. It's a lie. To get students at Bates College, a liberal arts college, not to vote. Why do you want people not to vote? Well, because your party is so corrupt and your agenda is entirely billionaire driven, so it's the only way you can win elections is by stealing them. I mean, this is the Republican Party's mantra. Dozens of, the long lines all over the country. It's going to be a really interesting day. And what you're going to see is in California, the Republican Party doesn't need to suppress the vote because, they don't have the power to do so. They don't control the mechanism. I don't think you're going to see long lines in most of California. You're not going to see long lines in Connecticut. You're not going to see long lines in Delaware. You're not going to see where you're going to see the long lines is in the places where there's a chance the Democrats might win. But right now, Republicans have power. North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Georgia. You're going to see, and long lines, as I said, are voter suppression. It's just that simple. So, let us know what your experiences are. Your thoughts on the day. Who do you think is going to win? The conventional wisdom is Hillary Clinton has this in the bag, but I'm not betting on anything today. Especially given the lengths of the voter suppression links that this thing has gone to. I got a story about Greg Abbott in Texas I'll share with you in a little bit about voter suppression there. So anyhow, stick around. We'll pick up your calls too.
This is the Thom Hartmann Program.
We'll sort of make it an anything goes election Tuesday. By the way, anytime you see a long line on TV, listen for the words voter suppression. You won't hear them.